Now that you all understand about weather modification processes, you realise I'm not just talking shit.
Yeah, because everywhere up in Queensland it's up 30 degrees and stuff, like stinking hot.
Yep.
It's so polarised.
Isn't it? There's 38 and 40 degree temperatures happening like last week of winter. And Melbourne is being, never in my life have we had 5 days solid of wind. Never in my life. You have a windy day, you might have 2 windy days, but this is day 5 of the wind.
I walked down a street today that was closed off because the power lines had snapped. A tree had come down, snapped all the power lines, and there was live power hanging off all the power poles, just wires hanging in the street. So they had all the street cleared off, and I'm like, I've never seen anything like this. It's crazy.
No.
So the poor SES are out, you know.
Yeah, I've certainly seen some challenges here and there. So this is how my friend woke up.
Bugger. Like you want to get a tree, eh? But still.
Yeah.
Far out.
Yeah.
Doesn't that piss you off, eh? Weather.
Yeah. Mother Nature's not this angry. Not.
Well, yeah, I was having some weird things happen last night. I was like, are the Aboriginal people cursing us with something? I don't know. They send their gods out to bloody smash us.
Like in my 46 years of existence, it's never been 5 days straight. Ever. I was even talking to mum and dad about it, and they're in their 70s. You ever had this sort of rubbish happen? They went, I cannot think of a time where it was 5 days straight. A bad windy day or tornadoes or whatever, absolutely. But 5 days straight, unrelenting wind. Mother Nature's very windy right now.
Yeah.
Well, that's when you screw with Mother Nature, sometimes things don't go as planned. So
no, it'll be interesting to see what the next few days bring. There won't be a tree left standing. Or at least limbs of trees. But anyway, moving on. All right, turn over to 24, please. All right, so we're going to learn how to change values in a hierarchy so that you can put them in order to suit the client's needs. Now, keeping in mind that when we learned submodalities in the practitioner training, we learned like to dislike. So if there are any particular foods or drinks that you were preferring not to like, we did the like to dislike and moved the image on your internal screen of the yes food and move it to the no food. And now you don't have the yes food anymore, or the drink if it was something like that. So that's what submodalities are. It's the way we encode. Now, amazingly, your values are also held in your hierarchy in submodalities. So that's how you know what is most important. The next one, then the next one, then the next one, then the next one. It's the submodalities that hold that values in place in your mind. So using the example just for convenience purposes on 24, let's say you have the value number 4 that the client wants to move to position 2. All right, so let's say natural elicitation brought money to number 4, and the client wants, no, I want to put that up higher, and I want to put it into number 2, so it's more important to me. Now, if you flick over to 25, just so you can see, it's the submodalities checklist. You're very familiar with that. You've seen it before. Okay. And that's the black and white or color, near or far, bright or dim, what's the location of the picture, etc. That's familiar. So it's right there for convenience. It's nice and clean and sparkling, so you can always take a copy of it. There for your convenience, because for this, we need to use submodalities. So what we do is we elicit the submodalities of value number of the one the client wants to move. So that's number 4 in this case. So we elicit the submodalities of money. Okay? So it's no different to what we did before. In the context of career and the value of money, do you have a picture? Black and white or color, near or far, bright or dim, what's the location, size of the picture, etc., etc. And at practitioner level, we didn't go anywhere past movie or still. We can still draw a line there, but as master practitioners, we can go further if we want to. I never have, because it gets the same outcome regardless. We don't have to ask them all. Then we ask, are there any sounds that are important? And we ask, you can ask just the top 4 like we did at practitioner. You can ask more if you want to. I find that more students struggle with some of the words in that list. So rather than struggling with the words in the list, we could just cut it off after 4 and we'll still get the same outcome. But if you want to do all of them, you can. And then, are there any feelings that are important? Again, we can just ask the first 4 like in practitioner, or you can ask the whole thing. Now, if you do remember when we did submodalities and we did like to dislike, the only thing we actually cared about were the drivers. So eliciting the entire sheet in full detail is actually irrelevant, because once you know the drivers, which are either associated, dissociated, or the location of the picture, or both, then that's all we really need to know. Because once you move the drivers, the whole bus goes with it. All right, if the driver of the bus turns left, the whole bus goes. So once you move the drivers of these submodalities, all will follow. Okay, so if you just like to elicit down to movie or still, the top 4 of auditory and the top 4 of kinesthetic, you're going to get a great outcome anyway. All right, so we elicit the submodalities of the first value, which is the one we want to move. In this example, that is the value number 4, which is money for our example purposes. Okay? Then we need to elicit, and I just want you to pay attention to this. You need to elicit the submodalities of the value above where you want the value to go. So in this case, where you want 4 to move to 2, you need to elicit the submodalities of the top one, of number 1. Okay? And what we do is we change the submodalities by mapping across, as we did in practitioner training, and you're mapping across the submodalities of number 4 into the submodalities of number 1, and then you back off the driver ever so slightly so it becomes the new number 2. It slots in under number 1 into the new number 2. The old number 2 becomes a new number 3, and they all move down like in the filing cabinet. All right, I'll say that again just so we're super clear, and then I'll move my slide so it shows you what to do. Okay, so we start by eliciting number 4. That's for the example only, because number 4 is the one we're moving. We then elicit the value, the submodalities of the value above where we want it to move to. In this instant only, that's number 1, because we want it to go into number 2. All right, so for a very brief moment, 4 will move into 1 and you'll have 2 number 1s for a very brief moment. And then you back off the driver ever so slightly and you'll now have a new number 2. All right, so I'll move the slide because it gives a visual demonstration for those that need visuals. All right, so we've got the number 4 and we've got the number 1. We move the number 4 and it becomes the new number 2. All right, so we care about 4, we care about 1, we move it into number 1 for just a moment, and it backs off a little bit to become the new number 2. All right, so if you imagine a filing cabinet, You put it into number one and then slide it in right behind it, number two. All right, you've backed off the driver ever so slightly. Now, let me just explain how that works. Okay, it's all great to say back off the driver, but what does that really mean?
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
Why, when you do it, do you go straight to the one above? Why don't you like bring it up slowly, like just out of curiosity? Like if it's at number 4, then you bring it up to 2 and you decide, hey, or like whatever, you know, like why don't you bring it up slowly rather than like, yeah.
It's a good question, but what we want to do is make sure it becomes a new number 2 and doesn't maybe make it to 3 or 4. We want to be accurate. So we know exactly where number 1 is. So if we put it in line and then back it off, it's now behind 1, but in front of 2, the old 2. If we did the other way around and got it to climb the ladder, so to speak, and we put it in line with number 2 and then wanted it to jump forward to try and become the new number 2, we might hit number 1 and keep it in number 1. And we never want to change number 1.
True.
So by putting it to straight to number 1 and then backing it off, we're guaranteed not to have replaced number 1.
Yeah, I'm visualizing like a deck of cards and like you're shuffling
Exactly.
the cards. Yeah.
Yeah, we've got to keep number 1 safe. So if we imagine just a ladder that we've climbed, number 4 down here, here's number 1. If we climbed, are we going to oops and jump? Or if we go even with number 1, worst case scenarios, we're even, and then back off.
True, yeah.
All right, whereas if we climb, ooh, did we jump? And what's to tell us that we did jump? We don't know. We've got no equals. So by landing it in number 1 and then backing it off, we know we've gone back.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
We don't want to confuse number 1 and we never want to replace number 1.
Yeah. And how do we back off? What's the drivers again?
Yep. So the drivers are associated and dissociated. So that means the picture is either through your own eyes. So I'm seeing in my cup through my own eyes. Dissociated is seeing my body in the picture. So that fly on the wall perspective, watching me drink my cacao, as opposed to me looking at my cacao.